So I got this hatchet, just got done forging. I'm gonna make a quick video on heat treating it. I got my oil in here. I'm heat treating with some olive oil that I have in this ammo can. And I've already preheated the oil by heating up another piece of metal and putting it in there. It's about 30 degrees today, so I went ahead, preheated the oil, thinned it up a little bit. I have about this much oil in it, so after I get it up to the correct temperature, I'm just going to set this down in the oil, and we're just going to heat treat the cutting edge portion of this hatchet. So that's a quick explanation of what we're doing. So I'm going to go ahead, get it in the fire, and yeah, let's do this. Here we go. So I just got the edge in the oil, and I'm going to have to wait for the rest of the body to cool down. At least under critical. I know you can't see anything, but that's kind of where we're at. That's how deep it is. You can kind of see there. So we're just going to wait. And keep her moving. Looks like I got a nice harden. I can usually tell by the color. When I forge welded this together, the bit, you may have seen the video of me making this, but the bit was actually a piece of sliced railroad tie, and the body of the hatchet here was a piece of leaf spring. So not exactly how true it is, but I've always heard that leaf spring doesn't like to be forge welded to itself. So that's why I chose using the railroad tie as the bit. Typically what you would want to do, the ideal thing to do, would be to make the body out of mild steel or some sort of medium carbon steel, and then use a high carbon steel bit. So having said that, I kind of just used what I had on hand. The piece of stock that I had to make this was probably about an inch too short, and I had a few other complications that came up during the forging process, but we were able to work through it all. We were able to work through them all, and we wound up with this, I think, what's a pretty decent hatchet. Maybe even could be considered a small axe. It depends on the handle I put on it yet, I guess. So down here inside the box, I can still see some red shadowing, so I'm just kind of waiting for that. And then once I get it all to black, then I'll go ahead and cool it down the rest of the way. But I really don't want to stress this in any way to blow the forge weld. And so far it looks pretty good. Now I could draw temper this, but I actually have a 400 degree oven already preheated in the house, so I'm gonna wind up taking this in the house and doing the temper in the oven. So you could do a draw temper, but I already got the oven preheated, and this is pretty much gonna wrap my day up. So I will go ahead and temper this at 400 degrees for a couple hours, and then it should be done. All right, in case you were wondering, this is what inside my tank looks like. This is just a little ammo can that I use for small knives and stuff like that. Stuff where I don't feel like heating up my my big vertical quench tank. So it's nice to have a full size one for bigger stuff, and then a small one for quick projects like this. So when this thing cools down good enough to handle, I'll get it wiped off, cleaned up, and we'll do a quick hardness test with a file, and then it'll be off to the oven for temper. So hold on. All right, so quench went well. I got it cooled down to the touch, and it does skate this file. That railroad tie, not super high carbon steel, so it's not going to get super hard anyways, but it's going to get plenty hard enough to do what it needs to do, and it's going to be extremely tough. So it's a pretty good choice of metal, I think, for the bit, and of course the axe body itself, spring steel. Not really a steel of choice to make a hatchet. All right, in a small axe like this, mild steel would probably be a better way to go, or even a really low to medium carbon steel, like somewhere around 1060, maybe even up to a 1070. But all right, that being said, I'm gonna shut this video down, get this off into temper, and yep, catch you on the next one.